You ever have a moment where the whole world stops just to see how much you'll take before you break? That was me at 30,000 feet, standing there in first class, every eye burning a hole right through me because my carry-on wouldn't fit, or so the flight attendant claimed. She wasn't subtle. "Ma'am, your bag won't fit up here," she snapped like I was a child. Not a paying customer, not a doctor flying home after the longest week of my life. You want to know the part that really stung? It wasn't about the bag. It never is. I looked her straight in the eye. "It fits. I'll place it myself." But she wasn't having it. Her patience broke right there. Either gate check it or find another flight. That was it. No more discussion. The whole row went silent, watching this little showdown like it was some kind of reality TV drama. And then, before I could say another word, she just grabbed my bag years of my life in there and chucked it like it was trash. The sharp crack of glass inside made everyone flinch. That's when I felt it, that cold, electric anger, the kind that settles in your bones, not your skin. I froze for half a second, the humiliation burning through me, hotter than anger, sharper than fear. Every inch of respect I'd built, every step I'd climbed, reduced to this a problem to be tossed aside. You know what I mean? The attendant, Margaret, I caught her name on the badge, flashed this brittle, almost mocking smile, then turned and vanished down the galley. My bag dangled from her hand, like she was holding a dirty rag. Nobody moved. Nobody said a thing, except for a woman across the aisle who whispered, "Did you see that?" Just loud enough for the tension to cut the air. That's when I knew I couldn't just let this go. I stood, hand trembling, not from fear, but from the stubborn need to stand up for myself. Maybe for every person who ever got treated like an inconvenience for just existing. I called out, clear and steady, "I'd like to speak to your supervisor." Now. And you could see the ripple in the cabin. Some folks looked away, some nodded, a few with that look that said, "Finally." Someone's saying it. Sarah, the lead attendant, popped out, eyes wide, voice shaky. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I cut her off." "Who's in charge here?" She swallowed. "The captain." "I'll get him. And please bring my bag back." Intact. Back in the galley, I could hear Margaret muttering, "Some people just want to cause trouble." Another attendant just looked down at her shoes. But right then, someone stepped in. David, a guy in a suit, the type who looked like he owned half the plane. "Are you all right?" he asked. Not loud, just enough for me to hear. "I will be," I said, "once they return my property." He nodded, and that little show of support mattered more than I could say. Then the intercom crackled. "This is your captain speaking. We're experiencing a brief delay as we resolve a passenger concern. Please remain seated." The whole plane exhaled at once, like everyone had been holding their breath. Sarah returned, pale as a ghost. "The captain will see you, Dr. Reed." As I walked down that aisle, I felt the weight of 1,000 small moments. Every time I've been told to calm down, to wait my turn, to not make it about race, but today I just couldn't do that. Not again. The cockpit was crisp and cold. The captain, Robert Peterson, standing straight as a ruler. "Dr. Reed, I've been made aware of the situation. Please have a seat." I didn't sit. "Your attendant damaged my bag. Inside are medical research materials, patient data, personal mementos. She singled me out while letting bigger bags stay. I believe her actions were discriminatory, and I want it addressed." Immediately, his eyes flickered. He cleared his throat. "I'm very sorry, ma'am. We'll get your bag at once." Outside, the passengers were restless, eyes darting, whispers rolling down the aisle. Sarah hurried back with my bag, setting it down gentle as you please. My hand shook opening it. The laptop cracked. The silver locket from my mother broken. I closed my eyes for half a breath, then looked up, voice like ice. "This is unacceptable. I expect a report from everyone who witnessed this, and your legal department notified now." David stood. "She's right. I saw it all. Your attendant was out of line." That ripple turned into a current. Passengers who'd looked away now watched, leaning in. Margaret reappeared, face twisted in forced calm. "Is there a problem?" she asked, flat as cardboard. "Yes," I replied. "It started when you decided my bag didn't belong here." She rolled her eyes. "I was following protocol. Safety first. I pointed at the guy across the aisle. His bag's bigger than mine. Why wasn't he forced to check it? He shrugged. She didn't even look at mine. The captain's tone sharpened. Margaret, step aside. We'll talk after landing. She bristled but obeyed. As we finally took off, I stared out at the clouds, thinking about the battles I've fought to get here, the late nights, the rooms where I was the only black woman, the only one willing to speak up. That fire kept me going. The minute the seatbelt light clicked off, Sarah came to me, nervous. Dr. Reed, legal wants to speak after landing. The captain asked me to assure you, this will be investigated. I nodded, jaw tight. David leaned over. If you need a witness, I've got you. Nobody should be treated that way. I thanked him, my voice nearly breaking with relief. The rest of the flight dragged. Some passengers shot daggers, some smiles. A woman slipped me a note. You are seen. Don't let them silence you. But the storm was far from over. When we landed, 2 airline reps met me at the gate. Cameras flashed. The story was already out. Doctor accuses airline of discrimination. I barely made it to a back room before MS. Hartwell, all corporate polish, slid in. We regret your experience, Dr. Reed. We'd like to offer you compensation. Flight vouchers, a public apology. I cut her off. I want accountability. Not hush money. I want real action. She blinked. We'll investigate. I gather my things, every move deliberate. I'll be waiting. My lawyer will be in touch. Outside, reporters swarmed. My story was out dissected, debated, spun. Some folks saw another troublemaker. Others saw a system exposed. But then David posted his eyewitness account online, clear and fair, and it blew up. Suddenly, I wasn't alone. Messages flooded in, some cruel, most kind. The company's bland apology only made it worse. And then came the twist. Ben, a quiet flight attendant, contacted my lawyer. Margaret had a history, complaints, microaggressions, even outright racist remarks, all swept under the rug by management. Ben stood up, trembling but unbowed. She's been doing this for years. The supervisors cover for her. We all know it. With his testimony, we filed suit not just for my property, but for racial discrimination, for dignity. The trial was a circus. Margaret, called to the stand, offered polished apologies, but the evidence, old complaints, new witnesses, a hot mic where she sneered at entitled passengers who think the rules don't apply, destroyed her story. The judge didn't hesitate. The airline was ordered to pay damages, issue a public apology, overhaul training. Margaret was fired, license gone. The CEO, forced on camera, apologized. But you want to know the real win? With the settlement, I started a foundation to help young people, especially those pushed to the margins, get into medical school. Employees who'd been silent spoke out. Other companies changed their policies. The last time you see me, I'm standing in a bright hall, telling a room full of hopeful students, you are not invisible. You matter. Don't let anyone diminish you. The light catches on my mended locket, a tiny glint not of loss, but of resilience. Justice found its mark. Respect, tossed aside at 30,000 feet, reclaimed on the ground. But the fight's not over. Who's next? Will it be you? Weeks later, I walked through the hospital, passing young students with wide eyes and big questions. For a second, I pause, remembering all the doors I pushed open, all the storms I weathered, and realize sometimes real change isn't loud, isn't a headline. Sometimes it's just the courage to speak up, a promise to do better, a community refusing to stay silent. The scars from that flight are still there, but they've turned to strength. I step inside the classroom. The students look up. I smile, not the one for the cameras, but the real kind, the kind that says, we're just getting started. If stories like this matter to you, if you believe in standing up, hit like, share, and drop your thoughts below. Was it justice? Was it enough? Where do we draw the line between protocol and prejudice? Let's talk, because your voice matters and someone out there needs to hear it.